And welcome back to the Movie Pope podcast. And today we are going to take a look at the final season trailer for Archer. It's been a while since we've seen any new episodes of Archer, but this is both exciting and sort of sad for us because we both love the series. Lee, what do you what do you think about the whole concept of Archer coming to an end after over a decade of being on the air?
I think it's time, right? I mean, I feel like the past few seasons have not really been maybe as strong. I definitely felt like it had a good showing. And, for me, I'll be excited to see it kind of wrap up. I think it's a show that, has done well, but, I think all good things have to come to an end. And this is definitely one of those that, I'll be excited to see how they wrap it up and see kind of all the storylines kind of come to a conclusion.
All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in.
Look, Archer, you're not the fresh young agent anymore. Dozens of knife and projectile wounds. Your liver is hanging on by a thread. How many concussions have you had?
It's not a concussion if you remember it.
What exactly is your plan?
I'm concerned about his medical background.
Missions that make us money and make the world a better place.
Who wants vegan protein? Many muffins.
Where's the romance? The intrigue. Spies do not fly coach.
But they do apparently yell about how they're spies.
Misdirection, everyone.
Going pretty hard, huh?
You haven't seen me go hard.
I think a lot of ladies haven't seen you go hard.
Thank God, we're not too late.
Not too late for what? S'mores?
Yes. All right. Well, I mean, it's good to see kind of the old Archer back, so to speak, right? Because we've, obviously went through, a few seasons where he's in a coma, and then when he came out of the coma, he was kind of, obviously in a weakened state. So, good to see him back into kind of his full action. Looks like they could go all out. So, but yeah, I'll be excited to see how it all wraps up. I'm excited for it.
I mean, the sad part is that we're not going to have Jessica Walter anymore voicing Mallory Archer.
Very true.
Unfortunately, she passed a few years ago. For me, when Archer first came out, I thought this was one of the best shows that was ever written. And at that time, Adam Reed, the show's creator, was writing all of the episodes, probably up until Danger Island or Archer 1999. That's when he kind of stepped back from the whole, from the whole project. And I kind of feel like without Adam Reed there to write these episodes, it didn't have as much of the same punch as the previous seasons.
Definitely agree.
But but as always, H. John Benjamin. I mean, love that guy. That guy cannot do an accent to save his life, but he doesn't need to because his voice is just one of those voices that just works anywhere. He could either he could be the world's greatest spy, or he could be some balding guy flipping hamburgers. So I did want to ask you, what did you think about those seasons where he was in the coma? Did you think it was kind of a nice new direction, or did you think it was kind of getting a little bit sloppy and lazy?
Yeah, it's a little bit hit or miss, right? I think that there is something to be said about kind of just going in a totally different direction, right? So you kind of get away from the whole spy thing, and you kind of focus on these, very obviously very different types of stories. So I think in some sets, them being able to kind of divert from what they've done was an interesting thing to see. But like you said, I think there was a little bit where I just felt like it didn't hold the same punch. I think something that I like with Archer is just seeing them interacting with each other, which is always, to me, one of the highlights of it, is just all their interactions. And obviously they share screen time, even in the coma ones, but obviously they're all different characters, so they still interact, but they just don't have that same type of feel that you get from the show. So I'm not I wasn't totally opposed with them. I don't hate them by any stretch of the means. But I think that's when it started to feel like it's gone a little bit too long. Like I felt like, would have been nice to see it maybe wrap up a little bit sooner. So that's why I kind of feel like this final season is kind of a long time coming.
I kind of feel like with the coma seasons, they could have just done one and that would have been it.
Yes.
I felt like they could have just taken all those all those episodes and just put them in one season, and that would be it. And and then you would just continue onward, because then you didn't have to drag the whole thing out. But for what it is, it's I thought it was pretty good. How do you feel about the fact that Jessica Walter isn't on the show to voice Mallory? Because for me, the relationship between Archer and his mother is like, it's one of the best interactions that I've ever seen, not only on the show but on television in general.
I think to your point, right? Like, I think this is when you kind of know it's a time to kind of roll up, because you're right? Like, his relationship with Archery Mallory is definitely, a highlight of the series as a whole. And, it is very unfortunate with Jessica Walter's passing that, there's nothing more. They kind of gave her, a nice little send off there at the end, where she kind of retires on the island, with her husband, who also, I think he passed away the year before, right? The one that voiced,
Rob Liebman, yeah.
Yes. I think he passed away a year before, so what was kind of nice. But to your point, like, I think when you start to see like the characters diverting and everything, or not be able to get the group back together, you have to kind of just be like, okay, like, we've done good. Like, this is well over 10 seasons, so they done a heck of a job. But it's going to be obviously depressing not to have Mallory being a part of it. But I think ultimately, it's a good time for it to wrap up and, kind of end that kind of storyline. And I guess we'll see what happens with the group.
Yeah, because we did see Lana sitting in Mallory's chair, so presumably Lana takes over. See at this point, but but to that point earlier, you do have some drama between Archer and Lana, but it's not on the same level, So.
No.
So, and you probably mentioned this already, but do you have high hopes for the final season?
I think it's earned enough just so I can enjoy it and just watch it and see how it goes. Obviously, I do feel like it's been a little bit inconsistent over the past few seasons. And I still, watched it, and I still, was looking forward to it when it came up. But I just don't think it had the same impact as it did kind of more in the middle, because I think it's one of those shows that kind of starts off a little bit slow. I think it takes a while, but once you start to like kind of get in the groove with it, it's really, really enjoyable. But I think, after you kind of go into the whole coma sequence, I think is where, like I said, it became a little bit more spotty. That's not to say like all the coma stuff was necessarily, bad, but I think that's where you kind of see it kind of die down a little bit. So I'll be excited to see where it goes. I certainly feel like, I think they know what fans are interested in. So I really have faith that they're going to end it on a somewhat good note. So I have some faith in that happening.
Excellent. Well, if you guys are looking forward to the final season of Archer, let us know in the comments below. We definitely love to hear from you. And as always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share the podcast with your family and friends. Help us grow. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.